The suitcase stood by the door like a silent witness. Emma had packed it twice already, removing things, adding them back, folding memories into neat corners as if they would hurt less that way. The house felt different tonight, quieter, heavier. The walls that once echoed with laughter now seemed to hold their breath. She looked around the living room one last time. The faded gray couch where they used to sit on Sunday mornings. The small coffee table with a faint scratch she'd made by accident. The framed family photo still hanging slightly crooked. 3 years ago she had walked into this house as a nanny, a temporary solution they'd called it. Daniel had needed help with his daughter after his wife passed away. Grief had hollowed him out, leaving behind a man who functioned but did not truly live. And little Lily, sweet, wide-eyed Lily, had stopped smiling altogether. Emma hadn't planned to stay long. She had her own dreams, her own plans in another city. But something about Lily's small hand slipping into hers that first night changed everything. She became more than a nanny. She became the one who braided Lily's hair before school, who checked under the bed for monsters, who knew exactly how many strawberries she wanted on her pancakes. Slowly, carefully, she also became Daniel's quiet support. They never rushed anything. There were no dramatic confessions, just late-night conversations in the kitchen after Lily fell asleep. Shared cups of tea, shared silence. But grief is complicated, and love after loss is even more so. Over time, Daniel began pulling away, not cruelly, not intentionally, just carefully, as if he was afraid to step fully into something that might hurt again. Emma understood, but understanding didn't make it easier. Last week, he'd said the words that broke her. "I don't know if I'm ready," he had whispered, staring at the floor. "I don't want to lose you too." Lose her too. As if loving her meant preparing for another tragedy. Emma had smiled through tears. "You're not losing me," she had said softly, "but I can't stay in a place where I'm only halfway in someone's heart." And so she packed. Now the house was asleep. She had left a letter on the kitchen counter, short, kind, grateful. She couldn't bring herself to say goodbye in person. It would make leaving impossible. She reached for the door handle. "Emma." The voice was small, fragile behind her. She froze. Lily stood at the end of the hallway, clutching her stuffed rabbit, her hair messy from sleep. Her eyes were wide, not confused but knowing. "You're going somewhere?" Lily asked. Emma swallowed. "I have to, sweetheart." Lily walked closer, her little feet silent against the wooden floor. She looked at the suitcase, then back at Emma. "Is it because of Daddy?" Emma knelt down, her heart breaking in slow motion. "It's not your fault, Lily, and it's not really his either." Lily's lower lip trembled. She was trying so hard to be brave, too brave for a child her age. "I heard him talking," Lily whispered. "He thinks if he loves someone, they'll go away." Emma's breath caught. Lily stepped closer and wrapped her tiny arms around Emma's neck. "Please stay for my dad." 4 words. Simple, soft. But they shattered everything. Emma closed her eyes as Lily held onto her. The warmth of the child's embrace felt like gravity, pulling her back into the life she had tried so hard to detach from. "I don't want him to be sad again," Lily said, her voice trembling. "He smiles more when you're here. He laughs at my jokes again. He makes pancakes on Saturdays. He didn't do that before." Emma's chest tightened. She hadn't realized how much Lily noticed, how much she understood. "Sweetheart," Emma whispered, brushing a tear from Lily's cheek, "sometimes grown-ups are scared." "Of what?" Lily asked. "Of losing people they love." Lily shook her head with the innocent logic only children possess. "But if you leave, he loses you anyway." The simplicity of it hit Emma like truth always does, quiet and undeniable. Behind them, a floorboard creaked. Daniel stood at the edge of the hallway, his expression pale. He must have woken up and found the bed empty. His eyes fell on the suitcase, then on Emma, then on Lily clinging to her. "You were leaving," he said softly. It wasn't an accusation, it was fear. Emma stood slowly, Lily still holding her hand. I didn't want to make it harder. Daniel stepped forward, running a hand through his hair. Harder than waking up and finding you gone. Silence filled the room. I thought I was protecting everyone, he continued, his voice rough. After Claire died, I promised myself I wouldn't let Lily see me fall apart again. And I knew if I let myself love you fully, he paused, swallowing, I'd be terrified every single day. Emma's eyes softened. Love isn't something you prevent to avoid pain, Daniel. He looked at Lily, who still refused to let go of Emma's hand. She asked you to stay, he said quietly. Lily nodded. I need her and you do too. Daniel let out a broken laugh, half sob, half surrender. When did you become so wise? Since Mommy went to heaven, Lily said simply. The honesty of that sentence settled over them like a fragile blanket. Daniel looked back at Emma. I've been wrong. I thought holding back would keep us safe, but all it's done is push you away. Emma felt her defenses trembling. I can't stay if I'm just a temporary chapter. You're not, he said immediately. You stopped being temporary the day Lily started calling you when she had nightmares instead of me. Emma's breath caught. I love you, Daniel said, the words finally free. And I'm scared, but I'm more scared of this house without you in it. The suitcase by the door suddenly looked smaller, less powerful. Lily tugged at Emma's hand. So you'll stay. Emma looked at Daniel, really looked at him. No walls, no distance, just a man who had finally chosen courage over fear. Slowly she nodded. Lily squealed and wrapped her arms around both of them, squeezing as tightly as her little arms could manage. Daniel stepped closer, his forehead resting gently against Emma's. I'm done letting fear decide for us. Emma let out the breath she had been holding for weeks. The door remained closed. The suitcase stayed by the door until morning, not because Emma wasn't sure anymore, but because leaving it there felt like proof of something important. That she had almost walked away. That love had almost lost to fear. When sunlight filtered through the windows, the house felt different, lighter, like it had exhaled. In the kitchen, Lily insisted on making pancakes with Daniel. Flour ended up on the counter, the floor, and somehow in Lily's hair. Emma leaned against the doorway, watching them argue about how many chocolate chips were too many. Daniel caught her looking and smiled in a way he hadn't in a long time, open, certain. After breakfast, he carried the suitcase back upstairs. Emma followed him quietly. In the bedroom, he placed it on the bed and unzipped it. Carefully, deliberately, he began taking things out, folding them back into drawers, hanging them in the closet. You don't have to unpack it yourself, he said softly, not after almost leaving. Emma stepped closer. I was leaving because I thought I wasn't wanted. He turned to her. You were needed. I just didn't know how to admit that needing someone isn't weakness. She reached for his hand. It's the bravest thing you can do. Downstairs, Lily's laughter echoed through the house. Daniel glanced toward the sound and then back at Emma. She's right, you know. About what? If you had left, I would have lost you anyway. Emma smiled. Children see things clearly. He pulled her into a gentle embrace, not rushed, not desperate, just steady. I don't know what the future looks like, Daniel admitted. I still miss Claire, I probably always will. I know, Emma said softly, loving me doesn't erase her, and it shouldn't. He nodded, grateful. Later that afternoon, Lily sat between them on the couch, her head resting against Emma's shoulder while holding Daniel's hand. She looked up at them with satisfaction. See, she said proudly, I fixed it. Daniel laughed. You did. Emma kissed the top of Lily's head. You reminded us. Of what? Lily asked. That love is worth staying for. The house, once filled with cautious silence, now carried something stronger, hope. Emma knew there would still be difficult days. Grief doesn't vanish. Fear doesn't disappear overnight, but now they would face it together. That night, as Emma turned off the lights and walked toward the bedroom, she paused by the front door. The space beside it was empty. No suitcase, no quiet goodbye. Just a home she almost left forever, until a little voice reminded her why she belonged there. And sometimes, it isn't grand gestures that save a family. Sometimes, it's 4 simple words spoken by a child who refuses to let love walk away.